Hey, we're just hanging out with Gwen here. This is our pyrotechnics engineer here. So get ready for some major explosions here in the Cinderella show. So here's Gwen. What exactly are you doing, Gwen?
I'm setting the flash pots for our special effect of the magic during Cinderella. And so I've got my special nichrome wire that I put between these two screws. And then I've got a very special flash powder. And it all connects to these foot pedals that are back here behind the stage. So when it's time for us to have the special effects of the magic to happen, we can hit those foot pedals, and then the magic will happen. So I have to preset these before every single show, and they sit in little cubbies that are just below the stage. So they're hanging out there the entire time.
Wow. So it's pretty quick. You just hit the little foot pedal you mentioned earlier, and then the little magic happens, right?
Exactly. It
Okay.
all happens pretty quick. It's pretty much instantaneous as soon as you hit that button. So as soon as those kids say abracadabra, we can hit that button and that flash power will go off, and we can pull whatever we're pulling on stage down and put whatever we're putting back up.
So I shouldn't say that A word then, because explosions will occur. That's the magic word. That's right.
We have the fairy godmother around.
Oh, the fairy godmother makes that happen.
Kids try to test it during the show. If they just try to say abracadabra on their own, that's not how it works. You got to have that magic wand.
Got to have the magic wand, and you need to have the fairy godmother. Oh, I got you. Good, good. I would want to make sure that I didn't set anything off, inadvertently.
I appreciate being careful and cautious about those things. Because the magic, that's serious business,
No doubt about it. Really appreciate that. Thank you. So how long does it take to set up your flash pot, as you say?
Just a couple minutes. I have 3 of them here. Okay. So it's just a matter of putting the wire through and putting a little bit of powder on top. So, and after a while of doing this for, a couple years like I have been, you get pretty good at setting flash pots in a hurry.
You ever have any bad kids where you want to turn the flash pots towards the kids? No? No, I wouldn't think so. That's right. I'm glad I'm not the fairy godmother. The kids be in trouble. Well, thank you. I appreciate the little demonstration there. Awesome. Thank you for setting it up. So you have 3 set up here, and you're all ready, and that was really quick. Awesome. Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Don't hold it that close.
Hello and welcome to the Filmmakers Lounge. My name is Lauren Akers, and I have the distinct pleasure of being joined here by Nancy and Gwen of the Greater Arizona Puppet Theater. We just saw a magnificent show. It was the Cinderella show, and we have the director and the lead puppeteer as well with us. You guys had a great show today.
Thank you.
I know this is, how many shows do you do per day?
Well, on Saturdays we do 2, at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., and usually on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays we do one at 10 a.m. each day, and on Sundays at 2 p.m. Sometimes when we have our adult shows, we'll also have an 8 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, but it's a different show than the family show.
Ooh, the different on the family. We're definitely going to have to ask about that.
Okay.
So how long have you been here at this Great Arizona Puppet Theater?
Well, I'm the founder of the theater, and we started Great Arizona Puppet Theater in 1983, and we had our first theater that was open to the public in 1988, but that was in an old fire station on 3rd Street, just south of Indian School. We were in various places. This is our final place. We bought this building in 1996. It took us 3 years of renovation to get it open, and we've been here ever since.
And what was this building previously? It looks like
This was a Mormon church, and it is on the National Register of Historic Places. It is called the Phoenix LDS Second Ward Church, and it is the oldest standing Mormon church in the valley. Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
So you're the director here, and you have you've been going since, like I said, 1989 or so. And how many shows? How many different type of shows do you have? All year round. Mm-hmm. So now we have Cinderella, and we go until when?
Cinderella runs through February 12th, and then the next show after that is Hotel Saguaro, which is for the Arizona Centennial this year, but it's a show that we developed with the Desert Botanical Garden about the desert. And then we've got a guest artist coming in and the very end of February, and we go year-round. So we have shows 5 days a week year-round.
We saw on your website that you're also looking for volunteers.
Yes, we are.
What is that about?
Well, we need volunteers to help usher, to help with our special events, such as Cinderella's Ball, which is coming up. And they might help the kids make puppets, make crowns, all kinds of things, face painting or things like that. Sometimes we need help when we're building shows. We also have the National Day of Puppetry coming up the end of April. And at that, we need people to help the kids make puppets, organize our puppet parade, and if they have a puppet show too, they can contact us to see if it might be something we can fit into our schedule.
So Cinderella's Ball, what exactly is that?
Cinderella's Ball is an event that we're having after the final performance of Cinderella here at the theater. And what will happen is after the show, the audience will clear out, and then we have all kinds of activities for the kids. They can make puppets, they can make crowns, face painting, all kinds of cool stuff. And then when they come back in, what we've done is we've transformed the room into a ballroom with special lighting, and the fairy godmother comes and does magic tricks, and everybody dances, and it's totally fun. And everyone dresses up. The parents, the parents dress up too. So, and we have dads in tuxedos dressing with their little girls in their princess outfits, and it's really fun.
Now, do we have guest mice who will be coming in?
Guest mice. We did have one mouse.
We had one mouse last year, but I don't know if there's going to be any mice this year. We'll have to see what's going on.
Yeah, if any mice.
Sometimes Iron Man makes an appearance too. It's whatever. Sometimes the princesses want to wear their princess dresses, and the boys don't really want to be Prince Charming. So Iron Man, Power Rangers. It's a party. Yeah.
Right. Now, on the other side of this, of your theater as well, there are some arts and crafts areas. So there are a lot of different things that happen here, not just a show as well. I noticed that there was a birthday crowd here as well.
Yes, yes. There's some a little boy celebrating his birthday here today, and we have a separate room so that they can have a place for their cake and all their celebration and all that. They come to a regularly scheduled show, but you have a special deal on their tickets when they reserve the party room. And most of the people who reserve the party room are members of the theater and help support it, and they also get some special benefits when they join too.
So they're going to the website in order to reserve the room and to have their birthdays.
To find out the information on that, and then they talk to people, actual people here in our office to make actual living people on the telephone to make the reservations.
And your
yes.
website as well.
It is azpuppets.org.
Awesome, awesome. Now, this show here, it involved a number of different characters that we had. We also talked to Gwen earlier about her pyrotechnics, the explosions that occur. Lots of fun. How many characters do we have in the Cinderella show?
Let's see. We got two stepsisters. We got a prince. We got a king. We've got Cinderella, and
Stepmother.
A stepmother, and a fairy godmother.
And two mice.
Wow. So there's 9 characters altogether. There's actually 10 puppets because we have 2 Cinderellas. She has a doppelganger. And then this show was originally developed this is my mom, and it was my mom and my older sister, and my sister was 8 years old when they first started doing it. And she was too young to do a whole lot, and so that's why the majority of the characters are done by my mom, and then the second part, which is my part now, has lesser parts. But there's definitely a lot of assisting backstage because she'll be on stage and I'll take a puppet off of her hand and put another one on there. So this is definitely one of our shows that I would say it's a little bit more complicated, wouldn't you?
Now, you mentioned earlier that you guys are obviously related, and you mentioned that sometimes you're in close quarters because there's lots of movement. I've noticed the characters are constantly in and out.
That's lots of movement. It's a small stage. Once you're back there, it's very much a little tiny box, and so we're switching in front of each other. Plus, when this show was originally blocked, it was blocked with an 8-year-old, and now we're much larger, but the blocking is the same. So. Maybe it needs to be reblocked, but we're too used to it. We're too used to it at this point. Yeah. So it gets very, very close, but, it's my mom. It's okay.
And Laura, her sister, when we first started doing it, was she was not only young, but she was small for her age, and she was short enough that she could walk in front of me and not be seen. And so the stepsisters would just go in front. And so now, of course, Gwen is taller than me. And so she actually has to drop down on her knees to move in front of me. So it's pretty physical.
Mm-hmm. So now with the advent of this and that, with all the technology that comes in, has that really impacted your show? Have you been kind of pushed to revise it, or has that impacted the number of people that come now? Because we want to make sure to put the word out that this is a wonderful show for the kids as well as the adults. but a lot of times these distractors of these e-this or iPhones and instant movies and such, has that impacted the theater at all?
I think one thing that it has done is make it easier for us to reach more people, to let them know about the performance. I think even though obviously we have moved way beyond live theater, there's still something unique about live theater. You're actually there. We're all in the room together. We're all experiencing the very same thing. The audience affects the performance as well as live theater is a unique thing that is a wonderful thing for people to bring their children to. One nice thing, too, about what we do here is we're doing an actual play, and we feel that we're not only entertaining our audience too, but we're also preparing them to be the audiences for other types of performances in the future too. So people who bring their children here can, first of all, they come and the little kids, will first of all, I'm going to sit with my parents, and now I'm more sophisticated and I know the kind of behaviors so I can sit on the floor by myself. And and then as when they get a little bit older, they think they're maybe too old for puppets. But then we have our adult shows, and they discover they're too young for those shows. So then they start coming back when they're older. So.
And I love your warm-up, because you always make it a point to come out here and kind of get the kids warmed up, get them relaxed and ready, and you give them the rules. So it's not like you're sitting there and pounding the rules into them, but you make it a fun event.
Yeah. I think proper theater etiquette is something that's awesome. I always went to the theater when I was very, very young. I mean, obviously I grew up in the theater, so it's kind of a little bit different of an experience. But, there's something to be said about actually being able to sit down and watch a show and then later discuss with your parent what's going on with the show, as opposed to in the middle of it, which I think with movies and stuff like that, because you can stop and just go back to the previous scene, you don't need to be paying attention at that moment. And so I think it helps, develop focus even with that kind of thing. And yeah, there's just, where else are you going to get live theater when you're such a young kid? I mean, there's a whole bunch of other children's things in the Valley and stuff, but it's just, something you can't really replace with a TV screen, I don't think.
Why is it important to kind of bring the characters out so that the kids can see what you do with them?
I think it's interesting because, obviously they want to know how it works. It's something a little bit different. Sometimes kids are scared of puppets because it's kind of crazy when the toys start moving around and talking and doing stuff, But we explain to them how they work. And they get, a chance to come up and actually look at what's going on. And I mean, you can't go up and meet the characters right after you watched a movie unless you're going to Disneyland right afterwards or something, So, and they won't really talk to you that often. So I think it's a lot of fun. It's always fun for us too, little kids that are just so delighted and they're so ridiculously cute all the time.
So after the kids go home, and then the parents come out later on for the adult shows. So talk to us a little bit about the adult shows.
Well, we have puppet slams here, and puppet slams are something that have been started, I don't know, about 10, 15 years ago? Yeah, and has gone all across the country, and we were one of the first theaters in the country to start doing this. Basically, what a puppet slam is they're different puppeteers do short pieces, usually funny, not always, but it is for adults. And we don't allow anyone in who is younger than 18 years old. It is because of the material. Sometimes people think, is it all X-rated or something? There might be some things that are a little racy, but that's not necessarily why. It might be language, it might be political, it might be just things that are way over kids' heads. They're not ready for that yet. And we, as well as a lot of other theaters around the world, are now getting support from the Heather Henson Foundation for that. And Heather Henson is the youngest child of Jim Henson and has always kept up her interest in puppetry, as is the rest of her family too. And Heather's particular interest has been in shows for adults, specifically for adults, and also puppets in film too, and she supports that as well. So the support we get from her helps us bring in special artists and sometimes special things that we have here at the theater for adults. But it's a lot of fun. People may come and they might not like one of the pieces, but then there's another one after that, and maybe they'll love that one. And like Wynn said too, it's the same thing too, that we hope that after people come and watch the show, they can sit around with their friends and you know kind of look at the program. Well, this one, la la la, you know, and discuss it and why they liked it and why they didn't like it, and hopefully some things made them think too.
So you have regular shows for adults as well. So
We do them in conjunction with First Fridays. We don't do them every single First Friday. We probably have about 9 adult shows a year. We do them, you know, First Fridays and Saturdays of the month and stuff. And it's been a very interesting road, I would say, with that. Because, you know, we started with those, again, like 10 or 12, 15 years ago. It's been a while. And there's been more groups that have come and started performing with us during those. And I think it's just been so amazing because when we first started doing it, you would definitely have small crowds where there weren't so many people there. And now we've got, you know, we fill this room every single time, and sometimes we even sell out. And I think that's awesome. I think that's amazing that adults are realizing that it's an art form, you know, and so it's not just for kids, and that it can be for grown-ups too. And I think that's really cool.
thank you very much. Really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
So I like to say the magic words, abracadabra. That's been the